The time is just gone 9:33 a.m. as we continue this morning with the show, and we are going to be staying with Aqsa Week, the biggest week yet, and participants from over 50 countries observing Aqsa Week and under the hashtag Love Aqsa. And this morning we're joined now on the line by coordinator affiliated to the SABDS coalition with the PSA, the Palestinian Solidarity Alliance. We're joined by Nazim Adam. Nazim, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sorry, it's missed this morning with the link.
Yes, we had a problem earlier, but inshallah, we will definitely have a better link right now. Nazim, just looking at it from the PSA's perspective, looking at the relevance and the observance of Aqsa Week.
So I think it's a great initiative born from Center of Al-Aqsa, the UK-based NGO, and it's just got global traction. It's similar to the other international week that we have, which is Israeli Apartheid Week, which I think is just as significant. And it's great that this happens just before that, but also in the month of Rajab, which is the month which signifies the Mi'raj of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam from Masjid al-Aqsa to the heavens. And we know the significance of Aqsa and the Bayt al-Maqdis in Islam, in religion, as well as for the Christian community. And the Zionist attack on the two faiths is clear and evident, and the takeover and genocide that is occurring in Palestine is playing out in the courtyards of Aqsa Masjid, and we need to defend that. So it is not just the genocide of people, but also the destruction of people's religious practices and cultures as well. So we welcome this initiative. I think it's great, and I hope it grows, and that this inaugural Aqsa Week gets traction as we go forward. I think lots of people need to use this space to explain the significance of Aqsa in Islam, and for all faiths, because one speaks of how it had, it's the basis of where Isa alayhi salam was himself resurrected to heaven from a Muslim perspective, and we need to respect that and understand that and share that with the world, so that there is the counter to that only Jews have a right to this land and this space, and everyone else is rendered insignificant, or their attachment is bypassed. Just to go further, I think that there are a lot of young people who are saying that the hashtag Love Al-Aqsa is great, but let's also send a nice message to those who are daily eroding the significance and the spirituality of Aqsa for their own narrow political purpose. And we say to them clearly, Aqsa is a red line. Don't cross that, because if anything should happen at Aqsa, the sanctity of Aqsa be diminished, particularly for Muslim people, it will be a red line, and it will have consequences globally. Because Aqsa is that space which binds the international Muslim community to Palestine, and it becomes a broader struggle than a Palestinian liberation struggle, but a struggle for Muslim identity and Muslim existence on this planet.
Yes, and also Nazim, when we're talking about global consequences, this is extremely important, and this is very relevant. That this global consequence is as a result of unity in purpose, and not only looking at Masjid al-Aqsa from a spiritual perspective, but also in terms of injustices, in terms of oppression. And we've seen what has happened over a period of time, the stranglehold on Gaza, what has been taking place in the West Bank, and also East Jerusalem, the entire move, Sheikh al-Jarrah and in terms of Judaization of East Jerusalem. But Al-Aqsa is also seen to be the last frontier of resistance against this brutal Zionist occupation.
I think it's the red line. I won't say it's necessarily the last frontier. There are lots of fronts in which this acts of genocide are taking place in the Naqab, in Gaza, in Sheikh Jarrah, in the refugee camps. These are all frontiers that the entire legal system, the administrative detention, the targeted killings of young people and maiming and crippling of people. This is an ongoing struggle of the Palestinian people. What Al-Aqsa represents is a red line. That it is the one thing that will keep all of the Palestinians. When this thing erupted last year, we saw a mass uprising of people. Even some of the Palestinians in the 48 territories, we saw people in the West Bank, we saw people in Gaza, we saw people across the globe rise up because of the sanctity and value that is placed on Aqsa. So when we say of consequences, I think this is what we are talking about. People will not sit back and allow the sanctity of this holy place to be violated because of narrow political interest by Zionist Jews who use the religion of Judaism, who misrepresent it, claim this as some sort of religious space for themselves exclusively. This has never been the case. This is a fabrication. There's no evidence for this. It's just a particular interpretation. We need to challenge that. I mean, anyone on the Temple movement, if you look at it 10 years ago, they were in the fringes of Israeli society themselves. They wanted to just burn Masjid al-Aqsa, Now they want to claim it, and daily they are sending troops of young settlers to visit Masjid al-Aqsa. Then they want to pray in Masjid al-Aqsa. They are taking a sanctified Muslim space and destroying it. So it is an attack on Islam, and that attack on Islam is going to have consequences globally. And I hope we'll see this wake up. I mean, they're all speaking about Russia and Ukraine. This is exactly what Israel has done. It's usurped land that does not belong to them. It's occupied Palestinian homes and territories and kept you forcibly removing them. And it's a genocide and an ethnic cleansing that must be challenged on all fronts.
Well, certainly. And also at the same time, to send a strong message to the people of Palestine that you are not alone, and we appreciate and we recognize the sacrifices of Palestinians, particularly when it comes to Masjid al-Aqsa. And they've done it at a huge cost, Nazim, cost of their lives in ensuring that they've been relentless in their endeavors in protecting the sanctity, the honor, and the dignity of Masjid al-Aqsa.
Sorry, you broke up there, Inayat. You're saying
I said by observing Aqsa Week right across the entire world, it also sends a strong message to the people of Palestine that you are not alone in your defense of Masjid al-Aqsa.
No, I think that is clearly the message that needs to go out, that Aqsa belongs to humanity, it belongs to the world. It's not an exclusive space, I mean, there's the claim that Zionism is an entity which is just a real estate agent, that all they worry about and occupying people's land. This has more deeper spiritual and attachment than that. And it has that for not just Palestinians, but for Muslims globally and for Christians as well. We saw that they announced Zionists want to take, I don't know how many hectares of Christian land into a national park and confiscated from the Christian church in Jerusalem. So they are not stopping. They are relentless in this. And we send this message to the people of Sheikh Jarrah and Salwan and Hamas and all of Palestine that they are not alone. We know that in our own struggle, when we receive support from the international anti-apartheid movement or read about any kind of protest or sanctions, it was really heartwarming. And we've been doing great work. There's PSA and the BDS coalition. There's a few things that are coming up. in terms of challenging the Zionist entity in our own country. And we know that there are many designers who actually send young men and women to go and fight and kill Palestinians in this illegal occupation. They're serving the IDF. We need to hold them accountable, and hopefully we will continue with our cases against them. There should be something announced in the next week or two. We've also managed to get a number of artists to boycott the Cape Town Arts Festival because it is sponsored by Israel. And there's a commitment now that the organizers are saying, look, we can't have an arts festival without artists. So we'd rather just give back the money to Israel. We don't need to be promoting Israel. You know, we don't need to whitewash and artwash the atrocities of that this regime commits on a daily basis. So there's a lot of things for South Africans to find work and be active in. Sending a tweet and saying, sending a like or whatever, that's great, but we need action on the ground. We need to build a momentum and a movement of in terms of pushing our government to make some concrete steps in terms of holding Israel accountable. I mean, there's numerous human rights reports related to amnesties, and there's an obligation on third-party states to hold Israel accountable. And one of the ways to do that is to sanction Israel and not to do any business dealings with them. And so our government needs to now put the money where the mouth is and begin to sanction Israel and be firmer in the positions that they are taking morally, but that moral and ethical positions that they voice needs to be seen in action. And that's only going to happen if we can mobilize as many people as we can under the BDS banner, under the banners of the PSA and all these organizations that are doing great work, including the Aqsa Week. The nice thing about Aqsa Week and Israeli Apartheid Week is you just need to be a handful of people and say, look, I want to organize a little demonstration or picket, or I'd like you to engage with my extended family around an educational program. Tell us about Aqsa and its significance, or what is this struggle about? You know, so we have people who are available to do training, to do little workshops. They just need to reach out to us, palestinesa.co.za, and we'll be able to assist.
Also, Nazim, using Aqsa Week to conscientize people, and as you mentioned, education as well. And we've seen there are a number of initiatives, even as far as children, on how to get your kids to love Masjid al-Aqsa. And some of these are online platforms that are being used. And last night, when I had a chat with Maulana Abdul Khalik Ali as well, looking at Aqsa Week, and within our very own communities, using our masajids, using our members, using our imams to highlight Aqsa Week, and also at the same time to keep people inspired, to keep them energized, and to continue conscientizing them of the plight of Masjid al-Aqsa and the dilemma of the people of Palestine.
Yeah, you know me, I'm going to push the boundaries a little bit, right? So I like this. I love Aqsa and all that. But it's a bit too, it's too liberal for me. I think that we do love Aqsa, all of us. And we need to do more. Aqsa is a red line, guys. If they take over all Aqsa, they're invading and they're doing it. It's not like they're not doing it. We need to be angry. We need to be educated. We need to be willing to do whatever it takes to defend Masjid al-Aqsa. Masjid al-Aqsa is under attack, under occupation. They want to have total control of Masjid al-Aqsa. And we will be accountable to say, what did we do about it? We just haven't spoken and I say hello and this is how I love Aqsa. No. We need to do much more than that. We need to be in the streets. We need to be protesting. We need to be challenging the Zionist entity at every step. But most importantly, we need to be boycotting their products. We cannot have Clover products in our fridges and our homes, because then you are by buying Clover, you're actually feeding Mirko, which is a direct sponsor of the Temple movement. Now, how can we do that? You need to think deeper than this. So I'm saying I want to push the boundaries. Muslims in particular, but generally human rights, people who value human rights and the sanctity of Masjid al-Aqsa, do more. Don't buy Clover products. Don't buy Coca-Cola. Don't buy Puma. These campaigns, people cannot say they're unaware of it, because it's everywhere on social media. we need to do more, and we need to take a conscious decision as individuals, as families, as communities, that this is what we're going to stand for. And if we don't know about it, we're going to ask about it. If I own a shop, hey, I say to Clover, please collect your product. I'm no more stocking Clover products, because every profit that is going from here, firstly, they are annihilating our milk and dairy industry. They've closed out the largest cheese factory in Luxembourg. They've emptied it out. They've fired over 3,000 workers, creating huge unemployment, affected a whole lot of dairy farmers. And we're going to be dumped with these Israeli products under the brand Clover. So we need to be conscious of this, and activists have been agitating for this, but we need our communities to stand with us. Go and print a few labels or stickers, boycott Clover, boycott Israel, and go stick it on there. Go to your local store and say, guys, please, you can't be stocking Clover products. I like the campaign of AXA because it raises the awareness, but we have to now step out of our comfort zone and agitate for a little bit more, because people are dying. People's homes are being demolished. Masjid al-Aqsa sanctity every morning is being violated by troops of young settlers, foreigners, are the most horrific white privileged youth that on the planet, with the arrogance, who are stomping through the grounds of Masjid al-Aqsa. We can't be saying I love Aqsa when this is happening. We need to be resisting this.
Well, Nadeem, Jazakallah for that and for your time with us this morning here on Atsalam Media. All the best to you, my brother. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.